19 guys going all the time, and that's what you need to be a champion, and that's what we got.
Here's Hodge to Cashman. Back to Dallas Smith. A shot. It's 3-1 Boston.
I just give the puck to Bobby Orr and let Bobby do all he can with it.
Not out. Bobby Orr behind the net to Sanderson. Orr! Bobby Orr scores, and the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Tom Larson. Welcome to another of Nesson's 70s snapshots as we continue tracking the 1971-72 Bruins and their quest for a Stanley Cup. This being the last year of Boston Garden, thought it would be appropriate to spend a little time here in the Bruins locker room. That team, 71-72, finished with a regular season record of 54 wins, 13 losses, and 11 ties. And in all the years since then, even with the schedule expanding by an extra 6 games, no Bruins team has won as many or lost as few games in one season. The closest that any team or teams has come to the 119 points that they rolled up was 113, which has happened twice, once in 73-74 and again in 75-76. The Bruins that year won the Eastern Division Championship, and they squared off in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Vadnais right back to Hodge, over the line, a drive, save, Plant, a rebound, save! As McKenzie steals 3-on-1 here, Orr with Busick all alone, to Busick, he's in, to Orr, save, Plant, it didn't get back to him, and it's tied up by Jacques Plant as Orr goes heavily into the backboards. Back to Ullman, trying to cut, goes deep, is in, Cheever's a big save, Vaughn drives, Cheever's a big save with Ullman right there. Dallas Smith inside the line. Fed back in. Cashman. Cashman in the corner to Esposito. Quick shot. Scores! Check. And a breakaway by Sanderson. They go all the way. Henderson getting back. He cuts in. And he's hooked. And a penalty on Henderson. As Sanderson... No penalty shot. No penalty shot on this.
Fred, that's a good call by the referee, John Ashley, because you'll notice here on the replay, if we come up with it, that Henderson was even with Sanderson. Now, there's Henderson. He's even with him. He's got to be behind him for the penalty shot. He's hooking him now, but that's considered all right. That's a legal call right there. And we're...
Vaughn falls down. Orr is in to get it. Orr controlling, wheeling, behind the net. A backhander. Esposito scores! Orr out center ice for Marcotte. Coming up on Vaughn. Cuts inside him. Still moving. Still in. Scores! Now for Ullman, it's onside. Ullman goes deep, stops. Back for Henderson. Forehand shot, blocked in front. Henderson, a backhander, blocked by Cheevers. Esposito winding up. New York leads Montreal 3-1. Esposito in for McKenzie. A shot, scores! Here's a break. Stanfield going in alone. He scored!
So the Bruins with a 5-0 rout in the first game of that playoff series here at Boston Garden against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Bruins lead the series 1-0. Now, of course, the mantra from the team that does not have home ice advantage year after year is we only have to win one of the first 2. So the 5-0 loss in Game 1 from a Toronto perspective could be more than neutralized with a win in the second game. We have that one and Game 3 from that series coming up next.
Gentlemen, banner years, Boston Garden will close its doors forever. Now is your last chance to skate on the Bruins' legendary ice at the 7th annual Slice the Ice Hockey Open House, sponsored by Hillshire Farm and Cons. Enjoy a free skate, tour the Bruins locker room, and more. Tickets are on sale now, and proceeds benefit the I Have a Dream Foundation and Friends of Boston's Homeless. For more information, call Ticketmaster or visit the Garden box office today. And don't forget your skates.
Now, it was nice that the Bruins had waltzed in Game 1 5-0, but from the Toronto perspective, as the underdog in that series, it really wasn't all that important. They had come in with the realization, of course, that it was a best-of-7 series, and with the first two here at Boston Garden, the Bruins' place. And if they could win just one of the first two, then it became a 5-game series with 3 of the 5 games in Toronto. So the 5-0 loss by the Leafs in the first game really didn't make a lot of difference, but Game 2 did, because if the Bruins won Game 2, then clearly the advantage was to Boston. But if Toronto won, they actually had a slight edge over the heavily favored regular season champs. So it's Boston Garden now for Game 2.
McKenzie from Vadnais. Long lead pass. Stanfield away. 2-on-1. Selwood back. Busick coming. Pass to Busick. Scored! Boston leads 3-2. Esposito to McKenzie. Right in. He couldn't control it. Cutting in. Pokes it in front to Esposito. The backhand, a block. Busick. A drive. Block. Busick to McKenzie. Near the net. Out in front. Now back to Orr. Right point. Over to Stanfield. A drive. Save. Rebound. And it's Orr. A drive. And it's wide. Selwood. Screen shot. Blocked. And a break here. Cashman. Esposito may go in alone. Has Marcotte. Goes for the shot. A save by Perron. A beauty on Esposito. Back to Dallas Smith. Screen shot. Drive by Esposito. And out of nowhere, Perron blocked that with his left pad. A break for Boston there. Or to Esposito. Esposito closing. Can't get the shot away. Keon broke him up. Now to Trottier. He's onside with Pellick. 2-on-1. The shot. Scores! Vadnais with it. A hard drive wide of Perron. And now Brian Glennie. Sanderson reaches over the net and lost his stick as Glennie rushes back. Or to Dallas Smith. 20 seconds left. Back for Orr. He's trying to break in. He does. He cuts in. He missed the net. He drew it out and just missed. Marcotte a drive. Blocked. Sent it right back. Orr almost did it. Oh, maybe we can get a look at it again. 4 seconds left in regulation time. Westfall had a good chance there. He set it up himself. And out comes Pierre Jarry with Harrison and Monahan. Harrison, a shot, scores! Toronto wins the game.
So the Leafs had accomplished their goal for their trip to Boston to win one, which they had done. They also, without question, had gotten the Bruins' attention, and the Bruins now went to Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto with the same goal that the Leafs had brought with them to Boston. That is to win 1 of 2 and regain the home ice edge. Of course, winning 2 would be even better. Toronto now for Game 3.
Up for Norman Elman, didn't get it. Elman back for Selwyn, a shot, blocked. Ellis, the loose puck, save. Puck loose. Johnston down, Sprawl. Again, it's taken by Pellick. He breaks with Dupere, 2-on-1. Pellick to Dupere. He missed the net. In alone as Pellick set him up beautifully. Quickly back for Walton, but broken up by Keanu. Breaks out 2-on-1 with Monahan. A real threat here. Orr is back alone. He on the shot, and Johnston the save. Vadnais has trouble but works at center ice, sends it up for Westfall. Sanderson over the line, maybe Pellick cuts in, shoots, Perron saves, and he's almost jammed into the net by Walton. Back to Orr, over to Walton, drives, scores! shot, a save by Perrant. Trying to clear himself, checked by Hodge. And Cashman couldn't get the loose puck, but he gets it to Orr, who drives, scores!
Well, there's a big goal coming up here. Bobby Orr from about 35 or 30 feet. Blasted one by Perrant, almost right along the ice, as Hodge made a good play, bumping into Perrant. Here comes Hodge. Now he takes the puck away from Perrant. It goes into the corner. Here's Cashman fielding it, and he just flips it over to Orr. Now watch the drive. Short side. All the way, right just inside the goal post.
3 minutes and 28 seconds left in the game, and McKinney on the power play. For Dave Keon over the line with Henderson and Ellis. Pass to Henderson. He's in, and Johnston saves and ties it up on the rebound for a whistle as Orr goes crashing in. A big save by Ed Johnston. 24 seconds left in the game. Brad Selwood for Toronto. Feeds back in. 19 seconds left. Pierre Jarry to Dupere. Save. Badney rolls in front. Skated off by Esposito. And Hodge. Now Selwood a drive. Johnston the save. And the clear by Boston. 8 seconds left.
So with the win, the Bruins lead the series 2-1, and both of the Boston wins had been shutouts. 5-0 in the first and 2-0 now in Game 3. Game 4, of course, was also in Toronto. It wasn't do or die for the Maple Leafs, but it was in that area. Highlights of that one and Game 5 when our 70s snapshot continues here on NESN.
Boston Bruins Wives Charity Carnival, Sunday, March 26th at the Boston Garden. See your favorite Bruins and Bruins alumni for autographs and photos. See behind the scenes at the Garden with a tour of the Bruins locker room. It's a day of games, prizes, photos, and fun for the whole family, with proceeds to benefit the Boston Ronald McDonald House. So step right up, Sunday, March 26th for the 6th annual Boston Bruins Wives Charity Carnival.
So that Boston win in Game 3 had swung the advantage back to the Bruins, and they would still have the edge, as a matter of fact, should they have lost Game 4. The situation, though, for the Leafs was dire. It wasn't life or death, but it was dire. They didn't want to go back to Boston down 3-1. They would much prefer 2-2. But you couldn't call it life and death, because even down 3-1, they were still alive. No question, though, the Leafs badly wanted to come back to Boston, even at 2-2.
Kinsey rubs out Harrison, and Badney is over the line. Pass in front block. Badney gets it again for McKenzie. A shot, scores! John Busick. Badney's pass stolen by Keon for a drive. Scores!
Number 14, Davey Keon with a blistering drive, a high-rising shot. That's Badney with the puck. Now here it comes right here. Keon turns, good forechecker, and watch this one, a real blast over the glove of Eddie Johnson into that top corner.
Stanfield falls down. Out of it comes McMillan for a backhander. He saves. That's Johnson with a beauty. Another save as it deflected onto him. And Badney with it behind the net. To Ullman, a save. Johnston down, trying to tie it up. Ullman with it again. Has to get it away from the referee. Now to Henderson. Moving. Score! Ron Ellis.
Well, good position here by number 6, Ron Ellis. He gets the goal on the pass from Henderson. Ullman also will get an assist on the play. Here it comes. Now watch Ellis to your left of your screen. Here he comes, right there. And they get a power play goal and go on in front by a score of 2-1 here at 11 minutes and 11 seconds of the second period.
Now Ullman fights to keep it in. Ellis gets it to Henderson. Shot save. Another shot save. Another save by Don Ari. Incredible in the goal. 2 Moore, Cashman, broken up, and McKinney has a breakaway. All alone with Dubert trailing. Scores!
Tim McKinney, number 18 for the Leafs, gets a breakaway at center ice on a miscue by the Bruins right here. Now there's McKinney going down the right side. He gives Johnson a little fake. Watch him now right here. And then he gives a little flip as Johnson goes down, and there it goes over his pad and into the net. The Leafs lead here 3-1. That's a shorthanded goal for Toronto as the Bruins had the power play. And for McKinney, his second goal of the series. That'll be unassisted, I think.
By Hodge, Cashman on the boards to Orr. In the corner to Esposito. A pass in front. Score, Hodge!
Well, a big goal for the Bruins. They trailed 3-1. Ken Hodge gets it. Esposito centering out in front. Cashman doing some hard work right here. And over to Orr. And this is where the play starts. There it goes in the corner. Esposito after it. He centers it right across. Seemed to hit the stick of Perron and come back and hit Hodge. May have hit him on the leg and went right between his pads.
Ellis trying to center it. Badney. Stolen by Ellis. Centering pass. Ullman, the tip save. And a score by Henderson as he just stood there and popped it home. By Ed Johnston, and Orr pokes it out for Sanderson, breaking against Henderson, and Keon stopping. Now Westfall in the shot. Score!
Well, Sanderson almost scored as he stole the puck from McKinney, but the Bruins came right back. Orr made a great play at the blue line right there to push it ahead for Sanderson. He faked the shot here. Now that's Henderson. Look, he faked the shot. And then he fired a little backhand pass. Here it comes Westfall. And he does a lot of things very well, but without much fanfare. And he fired the puck off the goalpost in that far corner. Westfall gets the goal. Sanderson and Orr the assist. 8:03, and it's now 4-3 in favor of Toronto.
On the move. Picking up Hodge with Orr. The drive is wide. Rebound. Oh, the quick backhander just missed. Orr with it. Wheels in front to Esposito. The shot. Scores! The ball tied up.
Well, a shot by Ken Hodge. Bobby Orr got the rebound. His shot went wide. He continued to go with the puck. Fired a perfect pass. You'll see it. Here's the backhander. Missed the net. Now watch this. Perfect little backhand pass. Or forehand pass. I'm sorry. And there's that trigger. And it took off.
McMillan keeping it in. Westfall now. Can't clear it. Glennie. Up. Stopped by Vadney. Controlled by McMillan. Shifting his shot. Save! Johnson! He lost the puck but fell on it. It did not go over the line. As it stayed there ever so dangerously. The draw to Vadney. The drive. Deflects to Perron off Hodge. Save. Esposito with it. Wheeling in front. Score off Ken Hodge. It deflected home. It's 5-4 Boston.
Well, Mike Pellick overskated the loose puck. Esposito picked it up. And he laid it out in front. It looked like it hit somebody on the skate. Here's Pellick overskating it. And there's Esposito with it. Now it comes out in front. You watch it. Hit somebody. I think it hit Hodge's skate. Changed direction and goes into the net. Esposito, the assist on the goal by Hodge.
So while the Leafs were still alive, the handwriting was on the wall. And while they had to be telling themselves, trying to make themselves believe, if you will, that they still had a shot, it was extremely unlikely. Game 5, first round of the 72 Stanley Cup playoffs after this. Must-win situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The odds were long. They were down 3-1 going into Game 5 on enemy ice and against an enemy that they had beaten only twice in a total of 10 meetings combined over the regular season and in the playoffs. And now, in order to win this series, they realized that they had to beat that same team, the Bruins, 3 in a row. Not likely, huh? And here are highlights now from Game 5.
McKinney, good rush, goes deep. Still has it. Back to Henderson for a drive. Save. Cheevers rebound. Hit the post. Loose puck. Westfall clears as Boston got good goaltending and a break. Marcotte checks, steals, fires. Perrott saves as the Bruins get a bit. Still with it. His pass rolls over for Keon, who keeps it in. Closes with a pass to McKinney, who scores a beauty. And it's 1-0 Toronto.
Well, with 19 seconds left to go on the penalty to Sanderson, McKinney with a fine shot, top corner. Here's Keon. Now he'll make a fine pass here. That's coming over to McKinney. Now what's his shot? He gets it up quickly, and it goes over the left shoulder of Cheevers into that top corner. And the Leafs lead 1-0 on the power play goal.
And now we have just a face-off, apparent. No, there it goes. Rickley and Cashman. Rickley and Cashman. And Rickley did very, very well. Back for Orr. Orr to Stanfield. Back for Orr. Shot a save by Perrott. And he broke his stick on it. The puck to McKenzie. Perrott has no stick. It was broken. McKenzie with it. Back for Orr. Back for Stanfield. A shot.
Goaltender is pretty helpless without a stick, and here you'll show Perrott playing without a stick. Orr fakes the shot over to Freddie Stanfield, and he fired one that beat Perrott.
Rolls it. McKinney intercepts. McKenzie intercepts. Falls down as he's checked. Gets it to Busick anyway. In front. McKenzie scores!
Good hustle by this line of McKenzie, Busick, and Stanfield. And McKenzie comes out of the corner. He falls down. Now here's a good play by McKenzie. Now he comes out of the corner. Watch this pass. And a good shot as Perrott didn't close that short side opening quick enough. And McKenzie gets the goal.
Esposito for Vadnais. A drive. Save, Perrott. Rebound, save. Save on Hodge. And with it, plenty. Bruins did everything but get it by Perrott. Great goaltending there. And Jarry is back for Toronto. A hard drive, hot by Cheevers. Orr trying to clear, does so. Sanderson breaking with Westfall, 2-1. Keon back alone. He is in. Save! Bernie Perrott, $1 million save there. Battle by Busick. Busick slides it for McKenzie. McKenzie check. Back for Orr. He drives. Save! Bernie Perrott. Beautiful goaltending by Bernie Perrott. Stops. He holds it. Busick. Save! Bernie Perrott. Oh, Orr made a great play there. Checked by Ullman. And Ellis steals, shoots. Blocked in the screen. Ullman with it. Cheevers down. He scores. Norman Ullman ties it up at 2. And it rolls over on the right side for Cashman, a drive. Blocked by Ullman. Cashman on it again to Esposito. To Hart. He scores! By Cashman. Cleared by Orr to the corner. Harrison trying to center it. It's around again for McKinney, who again drives. Deflected shot. Save. Cheevers. And that, now it goes in. No goal. It was finally knocked off him. Bruce Hood was standing there. The light went on. The puck went in. But after the whistle had blown, no argument. Not too much of an argument from Toronto on that one. 3-2-1. And the game is over. And the Bruins win it as they surround Jerry Cheevers and capture the series in 5 games.
Adios, Toronto, and Boston advances to the semifinals. By the way, there were only 8 teams that made the playoffs in the National Hockey League back at that time. So with that opening round win, very quickly, the Bruins are into hockey's Final Four. Now, their next opponent would be either the Minnesota North Stars or the St. Louis Blues. And as the Bruins finished off Toronto, Minnesota led that series 3-2, but St. Louis came back to win both games 6-7, setting up a rematch of the Stanley Cup championship from 2 years before, when the goal by Bobby Orr had brought the Stanley Cup to the Bruins in 4 games. We'll have that semifinal series, the Bruins and the St. Louis Blues, here on next week's 70s Snapshot. I'm Tom Larson. See you again then.
Bruins Digest is being brought to you in part by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
Bruins hockey coming up on NESN tonight. The Bruins and the Lightning from Tampa Bay's Thunderdome. Kim Walden is in for the next several minutes on Bruins Digest on a new exhibit on the history of this Boston hockey franchise. You had a couple of guides who are very much a part of it, or were part of the history, that is.
Exactly. Great. Thank you, Tom. When most Bruins fans think of a particular time in the team's history, 9 times out of 10, it's the Bobby Orr era. But what about the years prior to that? Not much is ever said about the men who paved the way for the Cheevers and the Espositos. 2 of those Bruins were Doug Moens and Don McKinney. Moens was with Boston from 53 to 64, earning 347 points in 710 games. After 22 years in the NHL, Moens compiled 710 points in 1,390 games. He also had 5 seasons with 20 or more goals. And by the way, those 1,300-plus career games is 8th all-time. McKinney spent 11 years with the Beats, 54 to 63, earning 462 points in 592 games. His career numbers spanning from 54 to 68 are 595 points in 798 games. McKinney was the captain for the Black and Gold, and he also won the Lady Byng Award. Not too bad for 2 young men who played in an almost forgotten era. Well, the Sports Museum hasn't forgotten the Bruins heroes of the 50s.
In early March, the museum opened a new exhibit, an exciting, colorful look at the Boston-based franchise. Our NESN staff decided to take a look with the help of who else but McKinney and Diesel Moens. Our first stop was at Bruins right winger Leo Levine's display. He played on the McKinney and Topazzini line, which ignited the team to the finals in 1958.
He was a very rugged individual, Leo was. He could really throw a body check. He had the knack for going around the defenseman and picking up the forward, coming in, trying to go around the defenseman. And I remember playing in Montreal one night when Fernie Fleming and I were backing in over the blue line, and Leo came around behind us and came up and threw between us when Dickie Moore tried to split us, and he hit him and he knocked him out cold. I thought he killed him. I was really, I mean, quite taken back by it. But that was Leo.
I forget what year it was, in the late 50s. We were playing the Canadians. I think it might have been in the finals. And Leo knocked the Rocket out. The Rocket would come down the right side the way he always comes down. He cut across in front of the defenseman, and Leo come from the other side, and he knocked him right out. They carried him off the ice. We finished the 3rd period, and Mr. Selke, who was the general manager at that time in Montreal, he said on public television between the periods that the Rocket's going to come back, and he's going to score the winning goal. And he did.
Ah, yes, the memories. As we wandered through, different pictures sparked all kinds of memories for these former Bruins. And while the name Fleming Mackel might not ring a bell to younger fans, it did for Moens.
We used to call him Flipping Dipping Fleming because the way he skated, he had a unique style of skating, and he used to almost jump on his skates like a rabbit. Remember, Don? And he could really dig in and build up a head of steam. He was very unpredictable.
Touring the exhibit, you could see in the pictures the excitement written all over the athletes' faces. Their Bruins' pride shining through the glass. And somehow you also knew that money wasn't an issue.
you look at the contracts today, compared to what you guys were making back in the 50s, huge difference.
Well, it's completely out of whack now, but I don't begrudge the players getting all the money they can get, because I think for many, many years the players were taken advantage of.
When I started in 53, 54, I was making $6,500 a year. And then I went in at the end of the year, and Lynn Patrick gave me a $1,000 raise, which was absolutely unheard of.
Obviously, the young men of the 50s loved the game so much that, like most, they felt lucky just to be playing in the NHL. One man who wore that brand his entire life is ex-player and coach of the Bruins, Milt Schmidt.
Milt had a tough job going. One night he was playing, the next day he was the coach. It's not many guys are able to do that. I think Milt did darn well for himself, making that change that quick.
I was very excited to be in the midst of these Bruins legends. One story that stuck out in my mind was the Uke line, which consisted of Vic Stasiuk, Bronco Horvath, and the Chief, Johnny Busick.
They were probably one of the top three lines in the NHL for several years. John played left wing, Bronco center, and the old workhorse on right wing, Stasiuk. He did all the work, and those two guys got all the notoriety.
I could tell you 100 stories about these guys, but I'm reminded of one. We were playing up in Toronto against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and early on in the game I broke my jaw, and I went in, got dressed, and went outside the Maple Leaf Gardens, flagged down a cab, took it to the General Hospital, and I was waiting for my x-ray. I was sitting in the waiting room, and all of a sudden the doors flew open, and Bronco came in a stretcher and went like this. He's in full uniform, and he says, "I broke my jaw." I said, "No kidding." So the two of us ended up in the General Hospital in Toronto for a couple of weeks with broken jaws.
Broken jaws go with the territory, but shotguns? Here's an interesting story involving Atlanta Flames coach Bernie Boom Boom Jeffrion and Mr. Bobby Orr.
He says, "You guys are playing the Bruins tonight, and they're at the top of their game." He says, "But you can play as good as they can. You've got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, the same as they do. You can beat these guys." He says, "And don't worry about Bobby Orr." And it was dead silence, and I said, "What does he mean by that?" He says, "I've got a shotgun. I'm going to shoot him."
A Bruins hockey era almost forgotten, but not anymore. The Sports Museum's exhibit spans the entire history of the black and gold, and when the curtain goes down on the garden this fall, a new chapter will begin in the Fleet Center. Oh, and by the way, as we were leaving, I noticed an old bumper sticker. Bring back some memories?
If you'd like to go back in time with the black and gold, head to the Cambridge Side Galleria Mall. The exhibit runs until June 20th. Hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., and Sundays, 11 to 6 p.m. Admission is $6 for adults and $4.50 for children. I know we've all heard the stories about our grandparents saying, I walked 5 miles in the snow in the winter, all those types of things. But one interesting story Moans told me was they didn't have shin pads when they were younger, when they were kids. So they used to strap telephone books on their ankles and then their calves, for the puck. So it was rather interesting.
And I think it's interesting too. Since that time in Atlanta, it's now a double minor any time that weapons are found in the bench area.
Oh.
Yeah, as a result of that particular story, as a matter of fact. With all of that as a historic background, it's appropriate, I guess, we take a look back at what was happening with the Stanley Cup bound Bruins.
The 19 guys going all the time, and that's what you need to be a champion, and that's what we got.
Here's Hodge to Cashman. Back to Dallas Smith. A shot. Score! It's 3-1 Boston.
I just give the puck to Bobby Orr and let Bobby do all he can with it.
Not out. Bobby Orr behind the net to Sanderson. Orr! Bobby Orr! Scores in the Boston Bruins! Have won the Stanley Cup!
Tom Larson with another one of NESN's 70s snapshots from the spring of 1972. We're in the Bruins locker room at Boston Garden, in part because there just may not be that many more opportunities. And at the time, while the Bruins were on the way to a Stanley Cup, there were still a couple of obstacles. One of those, the St. Louis Blues. And on April the 18th, the date of Game 1 in the semifinal series against St. Louis, no one could be sure about who the next obstacle might be. As it turned out, it was the New York Rangers. And does the name Bobby Suomalainen mean anything to you? His name was all over the Boston newspapers on that Tuesday morning as the winner of the 1972 Boston Marathon from the day before. Game 1 in April of '72, Boston and St. Louis.
Shot out of the zone. Sam Marseille kept it into Unger. He's in with Roberto and scores! Gary Unger with a hard slap shot from in close. Slap shot, save Ed Johnston. Rebound, Murphy, and Unger go for it in the corner. Don Ari trying to move it out. Murphy has it. Murphy's pass goes to John Busick. Sends Stanfield right in. Over the line, he's in. He scores!
Well, beautiful pass here coming through, setting Stanfield right in the clear. He almost didn't get the shot away. But Caron comes out and he just flips it over in that corner about a foot off the ice. It just got over that right pad of Caron as he tried to drag it at the last moment.
Busick right in. Backhander. Caron got a piece of it as he dropped. Walton gets it to Don Ari. Closing the shot. Misses. Walton scores on the rebound off the backboard. Broken up by Dallas Smith, who rushes. Here's a break for Boston. 2-on-1 to Westfall. Westfall to Dallas Smith. He's in. And a save by Jacques Caron. The draw back to Dallas Smith. Fed up to McKenzie. McKenzie in front. Busick scores!
Well, there's nobody any better in front of that net. Busick picked this one out of the air about 2 feet off, maybe a foot off. Watch it. Here it comes. McKenzie from Dallas Smith in the corner. Now the pass is in the air. Busick just reaches out with the stick. Here it comes. And he just ricocheted that one right in behind Caron.
Up for Orr. Orr shifting. Looking. Over to Esposito, the shot. Jack Caron, the save. A beauty. He got the right elbow out on that one. On Phil Esposito. Busick digs it out. Busick back for Stanfield. A drive. Scores!
Well, I think Caron took his eye off this puck. It came off the boards. All of a sudden, he seemed to look the other way. And Stanfield with a high-rising drive. There it is. Look how low his glove is. And all of a sudden, he put his arm up, and he was a little disgusted over that one.
Can't clear it. Roberto for Bob Plager. Over to DuPont. A drive and a save, Ed Johnston. Rebound, a save, and Unger. Ed Johnston, 2 beauties. Blistering shots. Kept in now. Sabrin to Unger. To Roberto. Save, Ed Johnston. And he took it off Orr's stick to tie it up. Skated off by Orr. Here's a 4-on-2. Orr in the middle. DuPont and Bill Plager back. Orr drops it for Busick. Closing. Looking. In. And the backhander was weak. Trailing Stanfield. A hat trick as he scores.
Well, Freddie Stanfield on the rebound. Just following that play beautifully. He's right behind Orr as McKenzie's over on right wing. There's Stanfield. Watch him follow in now. Very alertly. Murphy skated away from him, and he just flipped it in that open corner. Stanfield, his 3rd goal of the night from Busick and Orr.
Stanfield for McKenzie. He breaks. Coming up on the Plagers. Goes to the corner. Still has it. In front, Esposito scores. It looks so easy.
Well, you can't ask for any easier goal than the one Phil just got right here on the power play. Here's McKenzie going down the right wing, around behind the net. He tried to center it in front, I think, to Busick, and it hit maybe Barclay Plager's skate. Right here now, something happens. There, it hit his skate. And Esposito, You can't ask for them any easier than that, and Phil's not even smiling. Come on, Phil. You know, you often see a defenseman running around without a stick. There's Hodge and Brennan going at it. Hodge and Bennett. And Hodge picks him up just like a wrestler. And there they go again. As O'Shea comes off the bench.
That 6-1 win for the Bruins was, in fact, an indication that this Stanley Cup semifinal meeting could end up being very much like the Stanley Cup finals between the Bruins and the St. Louis Blues 2 years prior. Boston leads the series 1-0. Game 2 was at Boston Garden 2 nights later. We have highlights after this.
O'Donoghue, who shot us wide. Busick gets him. Busick in front. Scores! John Busick, a hat trick!
Had in the third period of Game 1 with the Bruins' Mike Walton. Amazingly, Walton had not been suspended. He was available for Game 2 as the two teams took the ice at Boston Garden on April the 20th. It was a Thursday night, by the way. The Bruins came into the game having scored the last 6 consecutive goals against the Blues. Blues had taken a 1-0 lead in Game 1, only to have the Bruins score the next 6 in a row, and so began Game 2.
Breaks with Stanfield and Busick and Orr trailing, and Stanfield to the corner to Busick. Scores!
Oh, a beautiful little drop pass by Freddie Stanfield. Here he comes, fakes the shot. He's having a super playoff. Watch this little pass here to Busick. A lot of traffic in front. Caron never saw it. He went down in the far corner just inside that goalpost, and Busick gets the goal. Stanfield will get an assist on the play. Just a super player, Stanfield, in these playoffs.
Bob Plager. Kevin O'Shea didn't see the pass, and over the line goes Esposito. Wrist shot, scores! Pulled out the glove of Caron and into the net. Phil Esposito. Stopped, and Barclay Plager trying to move it out. Spill by Bailey. They both go down. Walton to Bailey, who's back up. In front, Westfall scores!
Well, the weak spot of this St. Louis hockey team is their defense, and it was no more evident than right here. As the loose puck in the corner, they had trouble clearing. That's Walton. Now here's Bailey with the puck out in front to Westfall, and he just drove that thing without any hesitation at all in behind Caron.
Get a handle to it. Bailey on it again, back to Orr, right point. Roberto on him. He passes up a shot. Score by Bailey on the rebound of the Orr shot.
Well, alert play by Bailey. Found the puck right on his stick after Orr drove one from the point. Westfall may have touched it on the way in, but Bailey wraps in the rebound. Looked like Westfall tried to steer it home, and then was a save by Caron, and Bailey just wrapped it right by him.
Going deep to Orr, hits it on the fly and just misses. McKenzie still holding in front, jams it home for the score as he walked out from behind the net. John McKenzie. 9:27 and a power play goal for Boston. Bob Plager rushes. The shot and the save. Cheever's rebound. Sam Marseille tried to tip it home, and Cheever's got it. Looking for Sam Marseille. Sam Marseille with it, broken up by Cheevers as he went to the backhand. This is Phil Esposito in alone.
The 19 guys going all the time, and that's what you need to be a champion, and that's what we got.
Here's Hodge to Cashman. Back to Dallas Smith, a shot. It's little on Boston.
I just give the puck to Bobby Orr and let Bobby do all he can with it.
Not out. Bobby Orr behind the net to Sanderson. Orr! Bobby Orr scores in the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
Final program of our 70s Snapshot series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Tom Larson, and yeah, we are in the Bruins locker room once again because, well, it's just not going to be around all that much longer. Something I had either forgotten or didn't realize even back at the time, that when the Bruins and the Rangers squared off for the championship, the Stanley Cup in 1972, that the Bruins had thoroughly dominated the New Yorkers throughout the regular season. I mean, it hadn't even been close. The way the schedule had it that year, the two teams opened with a home-and-home series, beginning at Boston Garden on October the 10th, and then moving to Madison Square Garden on October the 13th. The Rangers, strangely enough, won the opening game here at the Garden 4-1, and the reason I say strangely enough is that the next 5 games between these two teams in the regular season, the Bruins won 5 in a row, outscoring New York 24-4. Not exactly an indication that the championship series might somehow be won by the Rangers. But the club did show up in Boston at the appointed place, at the appointed time, the night of April the 30th, and the two teams got it started.
Number 5 is Dale Rolfe, who gets the first goal of the game and the first goal of the series for the New York Rangers. Didn't take long for the Bruins to get back in it, though. At 5:07 of the first period, Fred Stanfield tied the score at 1-1, set up beautifully by John McKenzie right here. Stanfield picks the corner, and it's 1-1. McKenzie really set up Stanfield magnificently as he rushes the puck down ice himself and then circles into the center of the ice and draws 4 New York Ranger defensemen with him. Count him, all around John McKenzie before he drops the puck off for Fred Stanfield, who scores. And this was the beginning of a five goals in succession for the Bruins. Here's number 2. Ken Hodge shakes the stick loose from Ed Jacquemin and then gets the goal himself out in front as Jacquemin's stick lies behind the net. A look at that one again in slow motion. Hodge has just jarred the stick loose and it's bounding back there. He centers the pass out for Don Horry, who gets the shot away. But the stop is made in front of the New York net. Now you have Esposito, Hodge, and Walton all in front. The goal goes to Ken Hodge. So that's 2-1 Boston. And Derek Sanderson came up with a beauty, assisted by Ed Westfall, shorthanded. There's the fake, and the shot by Sanderson is magnificent, 3-1. This one we will see again. Ed Westfall makes it possible on the shorthanded situation, but after he got the puck, Derek Sanderson did some pretty good things with the puck himself. It was shorthanded. Now here's the fake on the shot against Bobby Rousseau. And then Derek gets the shot away just before number 11, Vic Hadfield, became something of a factor. And Jacquemin out to cut down the angle, missed on it, 3-1 Boston at this point. Ken Hodge scores his second right here. This was on the same shorthanded situation that Sanderson scored on just a moment ago. Big slap shot. And that was the 6th of the playoffs for Kenny Hodge, and that made it 4-1 Boston at 18:14 of the first period. Just a big slap shot that went right by Ed Jacquemin. We'll see that one again. The Bruins made it 5-1. Then in the second period, Ken Hodge scoring his hat-trick goal, and this one's kind of amazing. Phil Esposito gets the original shot, which is wide of the mark, comes off the boards, and Hodge picks it up almost at the goal line on the right side. And how he was able to put it in the net from that angle is something that's kind of hard to understand. Jacquemin has gone down. There's the rebound to Hodge, and he gets it into the net one way or the other. 5-1 Boston at this point. The Rangers were apparently rather a demoralized hockey team, but their comeback began in this second period on a goal by Rod Gilbert, assisted by Hadfield and Rattel right here. Gilbert's goal, 5-2. This is on the power play. Phil Esposito was in the penalty box for hooking. Vic Hadfield got away the big shot from the left point. Cheevers made a fine save on it. Gilbert, however, whipped the rebound right back at Cheevers. Jerry couldn't find it. He was partially screened. The 5-1 Bruins lead was now 5-2, and Vic Hadfield quickly made it 5-3, etc., etc. This is the Hadfield goal. It was a power play situation with Derek Sanderson in the penalty box for the Bruins for hooking. A slap shot just off the ice that may have been partially screened by Bobby Orr. Here is 5-4. a quick one. Right off the face-off, Walt Kachuk, who takes the draw, then gets the puck and scores. 5-4, Boston. But people got awfully worried when this happened. Bruce McGregor scored. Don Orey should have controlled the puck, but lost it. The centering pass to McGregor out front, and that tied the score at 5-5. Don Orey had trouble, lost the puck right behind the net. Otherwise, that might not have happened. Ace Bailey prevented history from repeating itself with this rush down the left side of the rink, pursued by Brad Park, and then tucking the puck high into the top left-hand corner for the game-winning goal to beat Ed Jackman, the Bruins winning it 6-5. Bailey, rather an unlikely hero, with others available, others like Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito. But Ace Bailey, swinging around Brad Park to score, was the hero of the day for the Boston Bruins.
The comment about history repeating itself, a reference to the season before when the Bruins had lost a 5-1 lead to the Montreal Canadiens in Game 2 of their series. Montreal came back to win that game 7-5. Didn't happen this time against the New York Rangers. Now, May Day came and went, which meant that the Soviets paraded their military hardware through Red Square, which they did each May 1st back in the Cold War years. And a day later, May the 2nd, the Bruins and the Rangers again, Game 2. We have that for you next.
Face-off near the Boston net. Orr trying to clear it. Can't. Lost his stride. Centering pass. Rattel gets it. A backhander save. Gets it again. Save. And Gilbert couldn't poke it home.
Bruins and the Rangers, 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon on NESN. Headlines in the Globe or the Herald American, may even have been the Herald Traveler at that time, I'm not exactly sure. But the headlines were of the death of longtime FBI head J. Edgar Hoover at the age of 77. And at the Garden, the Bruins, who had won 5 in a row from the Rangers during the regular season and then made it 6 in a row in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, were thoroughly intent in taking that streak to 7 in a row.
Back in front. It goes to the right point to Bobby Russo. Hits it on the fly. Deflects, save Johnston as Rattel deflected that right in. Still gets the puck. Sahad. Back for Esposito. Looking for catch. Backhander went high as he went in. Tremendous work by Phil Esposito. Face-off near the Boston net. Orr trying to clear it. Can't. Lost his stride. Centering pass. Rattel gets it. A backhander save. Gets it again. Save. And Gilbert couldn't poke it home as Rattel had 2 chances on Johnston. And with it, Gilbert. Back to Brad Park. Screen shot. Save at Johnston. Sends Brad Park away on the right side. He's hit by Westfall, though. And broken up on the play, and Walton has it. Closes. Shoots. Villemure to save. Westfall in the corner. A rolling puck. Intercepted by Fairburn now. And Fairburn controls. Nielsen rushes. They create a 3-on-2. Back to Nielsen. The shot. Save. Rebound. Fairburn missed. Over to Stanfield. Closing. Looking. Shooting. And missing. Orr with it. And Vadnais and Sather out. Orr holds. Spins away from McGregor to Busick. And he scores! Westfall right back. Broken up by Vic Hatfield to Nielsen with Gilbert. The pass and the score by Rod Gilbert from Jim Nielsen to tie it up. Orr up on the far side. Now to Hodge. To Dallas Smith. Right in. Off Rolf. Save Villemure as it almost deflected home. Broken up by Fairburn. He's got Sather alone. Now to Kachuk. The shot blocked by Vadnais. Kept in by Fairburn. He fakes Sonori, the backhander. A save by Ed Johnston. 3 Rangers right in there. Vadnais made 1 save, and then Johnston made the other. Shifting on Park, who falls down. He's moving in. Shifting. Save Villemure. Magnificent stop. Carol Vadnais, a screen shot, bluff. Hodge, the rebound, misses the net. Over the line, trying to beat Vadnais, may cut in. The backhander is saved. Johnston, he held the short side. Kept in by Nielsen. And it is McKenzie knocked down. Oh, everybody piled up here in the corner. Up. Elbow call. Nielsen kept in by Carr. Checked by Hodge. Fairburn on his off wing keeps it in. Alertly to Stemkowski. Quick shot. Save. Save and the rebound by Ed Johnston. The puck is loose. Carr can't get it. The face-off to Walton in the corner. To Hodge. Scores! Ken Hodge tapped it home.
Well, it couldn't come at a better time. Here's Walton moving very well inside of the net. Fired out in front to Hodge all by himself, and he just tipped it by Villemure into that far corner. And with 3 seconds left to go in the penalty to McGregor, the Rangers only get the one man back.
Starting the power play for New York, they trail 2-1. Now to Russo for Vic Hatfield. The explosive shot and the save at Johnston and the clear in front, and Esposito bangs it out the center ice. And which is an alert play. And battles Fairburn there. Hodge after it. 10 seconds left. Hodge to Esposito. Can't get it. And Russo starts out. 5 seconds left. The pass blocked by Orr. Orr fires. Hit the post. The game ends. The Bruins win it. And they're out to surround a superb goaltender, Ed Johnston, who figured very prominently in the victory.
You really have to hand it to the Rangers, who, despite losing both of those games, had managed to keep them close against a Bruins team that, as we mentioned before, had manhandled them throughout the regular season. Still, close or not, both games came down as W's for the Bruins, who went to New York for games 3 and 4 with a 2-0 lead. Now, in Game 3, it was May the 4th at Madison Square Garden. The Rangers avoided the possible sweep, beating the Bruins 5-2. Brad Park scoring a couple of power play goals for New York. Game 4, still at Madison Square Garden, and the Rangers, likely with a degree more confidence than they'd had reason to exhibit before finally winning a game against the Bruins in the third game. And we'll be back with Game 4 on this 70s snapshot from the 1972 Stanley Cup Championships. The Bruins and the Rangers after this.
The Providence Bruins face off against Rochester live Sunday at 2.
The series was still at Madison Square Garden, New York. The Bruins had taken games 1 and 2, and the Rangers had won Game 3. Now, in Game 4, even if the Rangers were able to win another, which would have been back-to-back W's against the Bruins, the series would still be going back to Boston. The Bruins would still have the home ice advantage. But, and the Rangers must have had this in mind at the time, if they could win Game 4, that might be a win that could swing the momentum in their direction. They may have been right, but it didn't happen.
Goal 1 was scored by Bobby Orr. It came at 5:26 of the first period, set up by Mike Walton, who gave Orr the pass at the blue line and sent him in alone on Ed Jackman. Bobby being congratulated by Mike Walton, Dallas Smith, a couple of other Bruins. Next goal, also by Bobby Orr on the power play. The Bruins have some good pressure out in front of Ed Jackman. McKenzie picks up a loose puck to the left of the New York net, out to Bobby Orr for the slap shot and the 2-0 lead for the Bruins. That was the 21st point in this year's Stanley Cup competition for Bobby, breaking his own record for points by a defenseman in the Stanley Cup playoffs. 2 goals were scored in the second period. There was one by Don Marcotte, which momentarily increased the Boston lead to 3-0. There was one by Ted Irvin of the Rangers, their first of the afternoon. The Marcotte goal was shorthanded and was set up by Bobby Orr there, and the backhand goal by Marcotte. Strictly an Orr and Marcotte operation. As I mentioned, pulled off while the Bruins were shorthanded. Ted Irvin got the Rangers on the scoreboard with this goal at 18:38 of the second period. Rod Sealing and Pete Stemkowski on the assist. Their second goal, and what did turn out to be their last goal of the game, came on the power play late in the third period. Ken Hodge was in the penalty box for tripping. He had gone in at 17:18. The goal is by Rod Sealing. There's a quick left-handed shot at 18:35. Irvin and Stemkowski get the assist on the play, and the Rangers at this point were battling doggedly, attempting to complete the comeback. They had trailed 3-0 late in the second period. Then there was the goal that made it 3-1. This one made it 3-2, but there was only a minute 25 left in the hockey game at this point.
So at that point for the New York Rangers, the situation was pretty grim. We, here in our beloved hub, of course, revel in those times when one of our clubs have one of those from the Big Apple in an apparent stranglehold. And on May the 9th of 1972, we were reveling. Game 5, with the Bruins leading 3-1, was at Boston Garden. And the town was ready to celebrate as Bobby, Espo, Turk, and the Chief paraded the cup round and round. They were to be disappointed. The Rangers won that game 3-2. So the Rangers lived. Game 6 would happen in New York 2 nights later.
Bobby Orr's initial contribution came in the first period on the power play. At 11:18, he scored the first goal of the night. It turned out to be the game winner. Bruce McGregor, attempting to steal from Orr, who was at the right point on the power play, was not able to as Bobby made one of his typical moves and spun away from him. There's Bobby Orr, and it appears to be Bobby Orr's goal. In fact, it was originally credited to him on the power play, but as it was later changed, Cashman gets credit for the goal, and you'll see why when we look at it in slow motion. The assist to Esposito and Bobby Orr. Esposito won the faceoff, back to Orr, who now gets the shot. But you'll see Wayne Cashman just in front of the net. They got a little piece of it to deflect it by Gilles Villemure. This is Esposito coming down the right side, stops, centering pass into Cashman, and it rolls oh so slowly across the goal line behind Gilles Villemure. It was at this point, said Esposito, that he knew they had it won, and Cashman apparently as well. The Bruins with a 3-goal lead at this point, and only 2 minutes and 49 seconds left in the hockey season. Again, Esposito, centering pass to Cashman, and he's all by himself, fires the shot at Villemure, who almost made the stop. The puck had very little momentum left when it slid behind him, and then trickled across the goal line for the third and final Boston score of the night. Bobby Orr holding the puck. Jerry Cheevers, as the siren sounds. Bobby Orr is the first to greet Jerry Cheevers, and then the rest of the Bruins. There's Phil Esposito. You see Ed Westfall, Don Aury coming in, and everybody else. And the Bruins have taken their second Stanley Cup in 3 years.
So a 1-0 game. Bruins leading through 2 periods. Not able to put the Rangers away until those 2 third-period goals, both scored by Wayne Cashman. And with the exception of the tall people in green, that was the last time that a Boston club has been able to wallow around in one of those boisterous locker room scenes. We'll bring that back for you after this.
Congratulations, Aaron Orr. You won the Connie Smythe Trophy. It's got to be a great series for you.
I feel fantastic this year. That's what it's all about right there.
We get back in the picture?
We got to have you stand right over here.
In case you don't know what it is.
The Stanley Cup with Bobby Orr.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
We, of course, are in the Bruins locker room at Boston Garden for this 70s snapshot where the celebration for the Bruins Stanley Cup championship from 1970 occurred. 2 years later, though, the Bruins won it in New York. Fred Cusick and John Pearson went into the Bruins room at Madison Square Garden.
Is this back in Boston?
This is right back in Boston.
My dad and my brother are watching. I think
you're on the air, baby.
Couldn't get them tickets?
No, they planned on staying back in Boston. There's a whole group of them from Parry Sound there. And
Not for any seventh game.
I'll tell you, they better be in their hotel room when I get back because I'm coming to get them.
Hey, Bobby, got to be a great team effort, start to finish.
Right, that's right. We have 19 guys going all the time, and that's what you need to be a champion, and that's what we got.
Bobby, talking just a moment about yourself, and I know you don't like to do this, but got to be a tremendous series for you. I know you've had some problems with the knee, but congratulations are in order. You won the Connie Smythe Trophy. It's got to be a great series for you.
I feel fantastic. This year, that's what it's all about right there.
We want the picture.
We got to have you stand right over here
in case you don't know what it is.
The Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup with
Bobby.
Bobby.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Bobby, precisely what about the knee, or can you comment on it now?
No, it just gets a little sore, and within the next couple of days, I'm going to see our doctors, and they're going to decide, and if they decide they're going to operate, they'll do it, I think, around the second week of June.
And it won't be a long, extended time that you'll be out, will it?
Oh no, I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I don't know anything about it.
You fooled us beautifully. John and I covered the whole season. You were hurt in Philadelphia. Went about 20 games. We didn't know it. We didn't know it.
You're pretty good at hiding those things, Bobby.
Walking in the airport or anything. Just fantastic. How do you do it?
Well, I didn't have the limp or anything. It just gets sore sometimes, and that's all it is.
Bob, what about the goal, the first one?
Well, I haven't been getting my shots through, especially on the power plays. I've been hitting guys and everything. So really, I was just trying to get the shot through, and I was forced enough to win the net.
Well, you gave McGregor that little pirouette.
Yeah,
that has been a real feature.
That could have been very dangerous because he almost did check me, and if he had checked me, he was gone all by himself.
What about Cheever's goaltending tonight?
Unbelievable. Cheesy and Eddie, those two guys, they've come up with the big games for us, and Cheesy come up, especially in the second period when we had a lot of penalties, and Cheesy come up with the big saves.
Bobby, one other question. I just thought that the Boston defense in the Stanley Cup Finals played super.
Of course, Donnie already played well for us. I'll say, it's too bad he was out injured, but Donnie's played well, and my partner Dallas, I can't say enough about that guy. He's just fantastic, unbelievable, and just love to play with him. But a guy that's been getting a lot of guff from a lot of people in the papers and the fans and so on, Carol Vadney, just had a great series. He's just played like I've seen him play before.
Well, congratulations again, Bobby, and for the Stanley Cup for the team, and also the Connie Smythe Trophy.
Great. Oh, Rangers played great. They got a well-disciplined hockey club. They got nothing to be ashamed of. I didn't think it'd go 6 games, to tell you the truth, but they really played good.
How'd you feel at the start of this game? Imagine a little bit nervous?
No, I didn't feel nervous.
You don't?
I didn't think we were going to lose. There's no way they're going to lose. Believe me, I just made up my mind.
Phil, you're kind of tired after this physical series?
Yeah, I'm a little tired. I just like to say it's too bad we played so lousy last Tuesday in Boston. It would have been nice to win at home for the fans at home, but we'll take them wherever we can, believe me. But it was kind of a physical series, and Tkachuk did a hell of a job on it.
Listen, there was a big face-off. We were ahead 1-0, and you got a draw back to Orr, and then there was another setup, and you had to get the draw again. You did, and that's when Wayne got the second goal. How about that one?
Yeah, well, the face-off, Cash's first goal was, I told Bobby to be ready because I was going to try to draw it back because Tkachuk was playing my stick. And I figured that if he was going to play my stick, I'd lift it a little bit and then try to get the puck back as quickly as I could. And it went back perfectly, and Bobby shot it, and Cash tipped it, and I think that was the ball game, although on the second one it was beautiful.
Here's the line that set a new record for most number of points during the playoffs. They
broke their own record.
Broke their own record of 2 years ago, now have 53 points.
Who's the spokesman here? John Busick.
Well, I don't know about Fred. I'm just so happy, and I'm just glad that our line, I feel we did our share. We worked as best we could. We've had our ups and downs, some bad games, but we never quit, and we kept working together, and I just hope we're around Boston for a few more years.
Here for Ed Westfall, the old pro.
From New Hampshire, I'll tell you.
That's great.
It's a special year. I don't care.
Well,
yes, and we'd love
tough to win it at home, but hey, if you can't win it at home, the best place to win it's on the road.
Well, Eddie, you've been with him through the lean years, as they say, and now these moments of triumph. This is the second one. How do you feel about it?
I've forgotten all about those lean years. We've had so many great years with so many great guys. I don't think about those things other than just being great experience years, and these moments like this make up for it in the long, well, more than make up for it.
Eddie, I couldn't help but think, watched you out there tonight killing penalties, regular shift, and I thought back to a conversation you and I had at the start of the year. You weren't taking the regular turn, but you sure made up for it once the season got started, didn't you?
Well, I guess like any hockey player, you just want a chance to play and show that you can do what you think you can do for the team. And I waited and I got my chance, but maybe there was a reason for it. I don't know, but I don't even think about that now. We've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, and we've proved to a lot of people and to ourselves that we are the best. And hey, thank God.
Eddie, do you think there's any excitement in Pelham, New Hampshire, right at this moment?
Well, I'll guarantee you it's just a rousing place. I know that my house alone will be probably bombarded with well wishes, but I know the whole town is going to be, as well as the whole state, is going to be in great joyous reunion because they're great hockey followers up there, and they're great Bruin fans, and I love it up there.
Eddie,
I can't wait to get back.
This is the second time you've been on the Stanley Cup champions. This was a tough series, I thought.
Very tough.
A little more rewarding this time, maybe, than the last
I
time?
think, yeah, someone said that probably the second time won't be as much fun or as exciting as the first time, but that's not true. It's just great.
Look who's here, Mr. Colitis himself, Derek Sanderson. How does it feel, Derek?
Now you got to bring up my medical problem.
That's embarrassing.
I'm sorry. And we'll forget all about him now. How about this hockey game? It was tough. What about the fight with Gilbert?
That was like the mafia. It was nothing personal, strictly business.
It was
nothing personal. Marcotti got a penalty, and we were a man short, and Gilbert plays a power play, and he plays it very well. And I figured, I knew I was going to fight with him 15 feet before I hit him, you know. And I fought him intentionally for that purpose of getting him off the ice during that power play. And, as little as I played, I just tried to fight as many people as I could to keep him off the ice. So.
Well, the penalty killing was superb. A shutout shows that. Eddie's kind of a third defenseman out there. How do you evaluate yourself on it?
I just give the puck to Bobby Orr and let Bobby do all he can with it because it's just one of those things that you have to kind of work out. You know, Eddie, it's been killing penalties for, how long, 15 years? 15 years in this league?
The youngest veteran in the league.
But I just kind of roll with the punches and follow Eddie around and listen to him, and I do what he tells me, that's all.
So the 70 Stanley Cup champions had a ride through the city. Likewise, 1972. A lot of waving, a lot of smiling, a lot of noise from the adoring fans of that Bruins Glory Days squad that had won the Stanley Cup again. Fred Cusick made the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to hear from each of the players individually? Eddie Sperry. Ken Hart. Don Marcotte. John Firestone. Desmond Oates. Bob Stanfield. His greatest cheer ever, Phil Esposito. What do you want me to say? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, folks. Be careful not to fly around. Super defenseman Garner. All I can say is that we've got the greatest fans in the history of hockey right here. I want you